fucking flies. There's this guy in Boulder in 91. I'm on a fucking, my nose is wide open. Maybe 92. I'm walking around, my nose is wide open. I'm doing comedy, I'm getting a divorce. And they're just coming to me. I got these people who want to do scams, and I'm running scams on them, but the only person I was running a scam on was on myself. But there was this one dude, no names. He comes to me one day. He's like, hey, I need a pound of weed. I gave him like some lowball number, 800, without even showing him the pound of weed. He gave me the 800. I didn't see him for about 3 weeks. He came up to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? The guy was supposed to bring it to the bar. No, I left. I go, oh, fuck, I got to set this up all over again. I'm sorry. The guy lives up in the fucking mountains. I mean, this went on for fucking years. I owed this guy the 800 for years. Then I went to New York, and he was part of the circle I hung out with, so he knew I had gone to New York. And I was dating a chick in the village, and I would go over there on Sundays. And one afternoon early, we're swapping spit, and the phone rings, and it's this fucking kid looking for his fucking 800. So I started making money orders to pay my child support, but I would take the receipt and write his name on it and make a copy of it and mail it to him and say, I told you, I sent you the fucking money order. I told Lee this guy chased me down till about fucking 96. God knows when he's going to show up. He hasn't even tortured me on social media. I wish he would at least torture me on social media, but never give up.
Careful what you wish for.
No, the moral of the story is never give up. Somebody owes you 800, you hunt them down till the fucking day is over, all right? That's it, and that's that. Greetings from Podcastville. It's Tuesday, the 17th of motherfucking September. The church, always brought to you by my bookie. Listen, if you found a yardstick on the street, would you pick it up or would you keep walking like a fucking mutt? Nah, you'd pick it up. You'd take the money, right? So why do you keep picking winners and not betting on them? Listen to me. My bookie is the way to go. You bet, you win, you get paid. That's it. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best fucking time of the year. So double your first deposit right now. Use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, to get 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. You put a yardstick in, you get a yardstick in there, they match it. Who the fuck is better than you? Visit mybookie.ag today. That's mybookie.ag. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, when creating your motherfucking account to claim that fucking Geetus. Mybookie.ag. Also, the church would love to welcome Kettlebell Kitchen. Kettlebell Kitchen was started by 2 Army vets, who are also brothers, by the way. Their mission was to change people's lives through making healthy foods accessible. Eating healthy is on everybody's mind right now, right or wrong. Whatever works for you, vegetarian, keto, Whole30 or paleo, these guys got it, all right? Listen, they sent me a box. It had grass-fed steak, the bison beef sliders, and the Cuban pork roast. I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm not a fan of the bison beef, but they were fucking delicious. The Cuban pork was delicious, and the grass-fed steak was delicious. Do me a favor right now. Go to kettlebellkitchen.com. Take a look at what they got to offer. These people even have a telephone consultation nutritionist that'll fucking talk to you about whatever it is that's, people have plateaus. This is the service to go with. If you're into the keto, vegetarian, or Whole30 or paleo, they have it. Go to kettlebellkitchen.com right now, all right? Go. What the hell are you waiting for? Feed the champion in you with Kettlebell Kitchen. Go to kettlebellkitchen.com and enter code CHURCH, CHURCH, for $50 off your first 2 order for your new customers. That's $50 off your first 2 orders at kettlebellkitchen.com/church. The church is also brought to you by The Goods, CBD Lion. Listen, tinctures, shatters, vapors, fucking gummies, the best. The other night I was running on 4 hours of fucking energy, but I can tell you, I could feel the CBD Lion in me and the bounce when I was going from Dallas to San Antonio. Go to CBD Lion right now in Preston Church and get 20% off your first order. It's that fucking simple, all right? Lee, kick this motherfucking mule. Jesus Christ. This is like my freshman year. This was it. This, Ted Nugent. Anyway, Rick Ocasek, God bless you. Hope you're making the journey nice and easy. I'd like to thank Dallas and San Antonio for fucking a great 2 shows, great weekend. Listen, if you guys ain't got no energy, my show's going to suck. You guys went in there ready to kill a motherfucker. Both of you in San Antonio and Dallas. I knew I was in Texas as soon as I fucking landed. You understand? So, the warmth of Texas. You know when every city has a certain special something. Texas is just fucking sensational. Thank you very much if you came out to one of the motherfucking badass shows. I wanted to talk to you guys about something, a mistake I made on the podcast last week. Lee had asked me, we were talking about quitting things. When you come to terms with whatever you're doing isn't working, or you think isn't working. Because sometimes you'll think that something's not working right, and it's because you're not giving it your 100%. If you give something 20 years, 100%, you still don't get nowhere. It's time to evaluate your game, and you evaluate it anyway. Every 5 years, you evaluate it. Something happens, now you got to bounce off that. So it's pretty much day to day, and it's all improvised. But Lee asked me a question. He said if I thought there was somebody who should give up, and I said a name, and I'm very sorry for giving out that name because I'm in no position to crush anybody's fucking dream. I just said in a hypothetical way, I set a plan up. If that would have happened to me, this is what I do. Nobody said for her to quit comedy. What I meant for her was there's a different way to do this. Sometimes you come to terms, listen, sometimes you're out here in L.A., you're on a fucking roll, you're popping a show every year, you're in the circle, everything goes all right, and guess what? Your fucking mom has a heart attack. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit out here like a month? No, you got to get on a plane, you got to cancel a weekend, you got to go see your fucking mom, and then while you're there, you understand that your mom is sicker than what you anticipate. Now what? Now you got to get your girlfriend to move into your house and walk your dog every day, and guess what? Now you have to change up your game. Nobody's saying that you have to quit comedy, but now you have to set up a plan to how is this going to make me work. I still got to go on the road. I'll have to put auditions on tape. And now you're like, I'm stuck here with mom for 6 or 8 or 9 months or a year. Do you quit? No, you just revamp your fucking game and you figure out a way to make it work for you. That's one object. And this happens, I'm talking about whether you're an electrician, whatever, you're always going to have to make changes somewhere along the line. So you have to improvise. It's a day-to-day thing. Why do you think I hate making plans? When people, what are you doing next Thursday? I have no fucking idea, but I'm not making plans till next Wednesday because I don't know what I'm doing next Thursday. What if we make this whole plan, this whole hour on the books, and I'm popping audition Tuesday and I'm fucked? So call me next Wednesday and we'll fucking ease the pain. I live like a fucking animal. Do I like it? No, but that's the way I have to live. Now, I'm talking about the suggestion that you come out here and you give it your all, what you think is your all for 20 years, and you don't get to a certain place, and you've gone through your savings, you've gone through your inheritance, things like this. Yes, there's times to sit down and say, maybe I made a bad call, but out of all this, I got one gift. What if I take that gift and do something else with it? Well, okay, then take your comedy on cruise ships. Maybe you're better for corporate events. But you never quit, Once a month, I always get an email from somebody who wants to be cute or a tweet or something. And they're like, hey, something, they didn't abandon their daughter, Let me tell you something. There was every decision I've made since I was a kid was based on one thing. When I was about 11, I used to hang out at this guy's house. And one day he said, remember, you always want to walk out on your feet, then crawl out on your knees. I knew exactly what he meant by that at the age of 11. And it stuck with me. And one of the first things I quit was basketball when I was in love with it. Blah, 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 blah. But freshman, he didn't start me. And I got turned around and blah, 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 blah. I got a lung infection. And yes, I got a bad taste in my mouth. And I quit. Do I regret quitting today? Yes, I did. But before I quit, I was also very honest with myself. I took a look around on my family tree, and there was nobody really over fucking 6'2" in my tree. I wasn't the fastest guy in the world. I could jump 40 inches and grab fucking rebounds like a motherfucker. But I knew this was going to be a hard uphill battle that at that age I wasn't prepared to fight, and I didn't really want to go through the disappointment. So I continued to play basketball. I just didn't play it at a high school level. Okay? I quit 1,000 jobs. Every job wasn't good. Thank God I found comedy, blah, 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 blah. And then I had another situation pop into my life. Like I told you last week, I got married, divorced. It was a very big mistake because a lot of people that didn't have to get hurt got hurt by our actions. When I went back to New York in 93 to regroup. Again, like I told you guys, this is a life of regrouping. I had lost everything in the divorce. I was living with a friend of mine. I had my own bedroom. I lived from day to day. There was days I just ate, I had to shoplift the cheese that comes in the red wrapper, the Gouda cheese. I would shoplift 2 of those, and I'd have enough for a box of crackers and a little container of fresh squeezed orange juice. And I'd live off that all fucking day, and the end of 92, I had it really fucking hard. But it was all something I created upon myself. I had gone through the credit cards. I had written checks. I had bounced checks. I had fucking a car that they were looking for to get repossessed. I had to hide it in the garage. It was just a life of fucking hell. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. Do you know what it is to go to an open mic or a comedy club, and the comedy club owner, when you walks in, gives you a piece of paper and says, hey, you just got a call, and it's a 1-800 number. And in your mind, you're thinking it's HBO. Somebody saw you from a fucking TV show or something. When you call it, they're like, hey, it's Marty. What happened to the $40 you were going to send me for the Discover card payment? I mean, my life got to that fucking point. So, and my wife and I were not agreeing on things at the time, and the boyfriend was getting involved, and I said, you know what, let me just take a breather. When you want to take a breather in your life, you go right back to your home, you walk the streets you grew up in, and it brings you back. It gets your compass centered. Sometimes you have to get your compass centered. So I went back there and I got my compass centered. I kept doing comedy, and I learned one thing, that in New York, the open mic world is a fucking jungle. Colorado, now that I had been on the Colorado scene and the New York scene, Colorado, I was getting a lot more action in Colorado. It was a lot better level of work. Yeah, I could do 3 open mics in one night, but what good is it if it's for a room full of comics? In Colorado, I was doing 1 show a night, but it was for a real audience. And I was at the 3rd-year level, so it was a big difference going from this point to this point. After I regrouped in New York, I put a little money away. I did a little drug heist with my man D. Rago, God bless his soul, and that gave me a little bit of cash to go back to Colorado with the intention of getting an attorney, fighting for my daughter, and doing comedy. That was the plan. And the plan was to stay in Colorado. I was not looking to be famous. I was not looking to be George Carlin or any of the hot comics in that day, Jackie Flynn or nothing like that. I just wanted to be a comic, make a living, live from city to city, do triple runs for the rest of my life, because I never thought I would be that good to be at that level. I was very, that's the attitude I went back home to Denver with.
Did you go to Denver just because of your daughter? Did you think about going to other places?
No, I went to Denver because I wanted to be a father. And I went back to Denver because I knew that when I went back to Denver, first of all, I didn't have to kill myself as hard to make a living, like the living I was making in New York. There was a lot of movement in my life. And again, going back to New York and addictions, New York, the addiction was fed on every block. It was too easy to get anything. I get anything at any time. That's not good for me. I knew that wasn't good or healthy. Was I going to miss it? Fuck yeah. But in Colorado, you had to work a little harder. But that wasn't the decision in that. The main decision was to go back and be a father. First off, I prayed to God that she had cooled down a little bit. That this 7 to 8 month window had given her a chance to step back and look at this for what it was, that maybe this guy just needs a chance. But no, as soon as I got back, we started, and the little money I put away, instead of it going to furniture and clothes, it went to an attorney's retainer. And for the next 5, 12, and 3, for the next 18 months, I lived in a state of fucking horror, anger, confusion, and shock. Not to mention, I'm an open micer. I didn't quit because I was going through all this shit with her and my ex-wife. I just kept doing comedy. I knew that the more comedy I did, the closer I get to my goal. My goal was to become a functioning human being. Never mind the coke. That was fine. I had accepted the addiction. I just wanted to be a human being that worked, paid his bills. I wasn't looking for much money. I kept my nut low every month. I finally learned the value of keeping your nut low when I got divorced. You know, I didn't have a car payment. I had a pager. I had a fucking $400 apartment in Boulder. I mean, my nut was basically $800 a month, $900 a month. I could fucking find $900 a month. That's my gift. I could find $900 a month. So I started doing well financially. What's well, Joey? Well was $3,000 a month. That was, hustling, selling drugs, selling cars, and a little bit of comedy. Picking up a 5 here, a 10 here, a 30 here. So this whole time I'm making fucking strides in my comedy life. I'm getting healthier in Boulder. I'm walking, I'm hiking, I'm swimming at North Hollywood Pool, North Boulder YMCA, whatever they had like a North Boulder something. I'm doing everything in my life to cover the spread, but what kept getting worse was my relationship with my ex-wife and my ex-wife's husband. This kept getting worse and worse. And it would get good for a month, and then it would go downhill. Listen, it was putting a big fucking stress on me. It was putting a big stress on her. But the person that was getting stressed out by this the most was my daughter, Jacqueline. You know, it's so funny now in hindsight. My daughter has girlfriends. She's 6 years old. She's in the first grade. And one of her girlfriends, her parents went through a divorce. You could see it in the kid. The kid is walking around angry, heartbroken, throws fits. It's horrible, but it's not her fault. You know, she's in the middle of a divorce that's messy. They yell at each other, they curse at each other, they don't talk to each other. So this leaks down into your child. I started to notice that a little bit. Now there's another side of the story. They were trying to frustrate me and break me. They were trying to frustrate me and break me. They were trying to frustrate me and break me. They were trying to push me for me to make a bad move. I saw this. You know, when somebody does this to you constantly and you're checking yourself, eventually one day you can't check yourself no more. You know, we're all fucking human, okay? So the one day he called me a spick behind my back, and I found out. Now, if it was anybody else who called me a spick, I would not even confront you. Because I don't confront people who call me a spick. You're telling me with your words how ignorant you fucking are. So 9 out of 10 times, I don't react to racial slurs. I never have. First of all, they said it so much in Jersey, I just got fucking used to it. But that was an excuse for me to light this motherfucker up. Now, before I went into this light up mode, there was 3 or 4 months where I was living a horrible life because I was preparing their death. I was designing their death. This is murder 1. This is not involuntary manslaughter. This is not manslaughter. I could tell you on this microphone right now as a man that in 1995, I was designing my ex-wife and her husband today's death. It was on my mind constantly, and it was starting to get up there with the comedy. At that time, my whole passion was comedy and being a father. That was my passion. I didn't have money to stay healthy. I lifted weights at the house. I swam at the Y. I walked. You know, it was a different life. I stayed healthy because I was broke, to be honest with you, because 60% of my income went to fucking cocaine. But my main objective was writing, doing those Jean Paré workbooks, and I would do everything, in the daytime when I wasn't busy hustling. And I really, really, really wanted the responsibility of being a father. But the more I had stayed there, I could see this possibility was getting taken from me. Every day, it was getting taken from me. Now there was a point where she wouldn't tell the mother what we did on our afternoon and our weekends because she was scared the mother would use it against me, so she stopped telling the mother. So the judge made me and her have to write a letter together and hand it to the mom when we exchanged visitation. There were all these little things that I could see that were affecting this little fucking 5-year-old girl in a way that, listen, I'm no child psychiatrist, but I know when people change. I could tell that whenever we made the exchange, she'd always put her head down, and, you know, it was just rough on her as a 5-year-old. But in my mind, I was still designing their death. I was designing their death, and by designing their death, I was going to make them disappear, and then I would have to get custody, and that's how, when you have that much anger in your heart, and you have that much frustration and whatever, this is where your head goes. People talk about where suicide comes from. Where's this side come? You know, I know it's Suicide Prevention Month, either this month or next month. You start getting these evil thoughts. My evil thoughts were not in harming myself, but I wanted to harm 2 people in the worst way ever. Murder. And they were going to disappear. And my genius plot was to tie them to a tree and rub honey on them and let the bears get them. That was my genius plot, okay? Me and another Vietnam vet. Right now, I'd be fucking getting the electric chair. But something didn't sound right about it. You know, first off, I grew up without a mother. Horrible existence. Finding out that your mother got fucking stabbed by your ex-husband, by her ex-husband and your father, is not a good way to fucking grow up. That's not a good way to grow up. You know, never mind that your mom is gone and she was killed by your father. That's not a smart way to fucking grow up. And even though these little flashes popped into my mind, the passion for me to murder him was fucking stronger. I mean, I look back at this situation today and I'm in shock with these words. But they were frustrating me so fucking much. I didn't know what to do, how to start this, how to end this. And this whole time, I got 2 felonies. You know what happens when you get a 3rd felony? They give you that fucking, life of a felon sentence. And you get 25 fucking years. So I knew in Colorado I was treading on thin fucking skin. So then came the luckiest day of my life. Really, when you look at it. He called me a spick behind my back. I drove there in front of my daughter. I raised my hand to this fucking guy. You know who was satisfied? The only person that satisfied was my inner desire to get revenge. After the cops came and everything, I looked over, and in the car was this poor little 5-year-old girl crying. I felt good for what I had done, but now that feeling had gone away once I saw that little fucking girl crying. So from that moment on, for about a month, now we had to go to court. I didn't get to see her for 2 weeks. Then when I did see her, I remember her saying to me that the morning after I hit him, she went downstairs for breakfast, and she was sitting there looking at John's black eye, and she started giggling. And yeah, on the outside I giggled, but inside it broke my heart. Because she didn't need to see that. She didn't need to see that at all. And here I was wanting to fucking kill him. She just saw me smack the guy, and now she's reacting to it. You know, I had to tell her that I was going to apologize, and I apologized to him one day, and the charges were dropped. And then in the middle of all that one day, they fucking took me to court for something completely irrelevant. And that's when I won the fucking case, and I went off on her. And even though I went off on her, I didn't feel fucking good about it. So now I got all these fucking signs telling me this is not going to fucking work. But then life gave me the biggest sign of all. I got banned from the Comedy Works. Now that was another month of thought. Now I knew how to change my life. At that time, I was already doing triple runs. But the goal was to work out of the Comedy Works, not McKelvey's, not Wits End, not the other club. Your goal at that time was to be at the Comedy Works, and my foot was 3/4 in, and I get fucking thrown out of there. So now I'm faced with a decision in this little one-bedroom apartment with nothing in the refrigerator but beer. My decision was what I really wanted out of this life. My decision was that I want to fucking go to jail, because I didn't go to jail that day. That case got thrown out. But the direction where we were going, I was going to go to jail. And guess what? At one point there, I accepted it. I thought, fuck it, I'll get a fax machine sent in. I'll write jokes for Jay Leno, and I'll make $35 a day writing fucking jokes. Good luck. This is how demented my mind was. When I think back at these times, I have to shake my head. But I also think of people that think about those type of thoughts in a different way, and they do them to themselves. That's what that taught me. Especially when you question somebody doing suicide. You start thinking to yourself, like, wait a second, whoa. I was committing suicide in a different way, because I was going to go to jail for the rest of my life. That's suicide. You being locked in a fucking cell the rest of your life, yeah, you still got communication, you still got TV, you still make fucking 3 pennies an hour, and you're still eating. But being in jail, you have no life. You wasted a fucking life. You wasted a life because of a fucking impulsive fucking action that you did. You wasted a life, and you probably ruined the lives of 3 or 4 others. So I knew all these things. But I was faced with a tough fucking decision, man. I really wanted to be a fucking dad. I really did. But was the desire of me being a dad to beat her? Or did I really, really, really want to be a dad? That was the fucking question. So I looked around my apartment. I looked at my fucking refrigerator. I remember going to the bank that night and putting my ATM card in, and I couldn't even take a 20 out because I had like $18. For years, I had an ATM card with $18 on it. Not even enough to take a fucking 20 out. I could buy like a slice of pizza if I was in a bind. I looked around my apartment. I had to borrow a car to pick her up on Wednesdays or rent one and borrow one to pick up on her to get her one on the weekends. You know, I was living this fucking life. You know, I was borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Was I really a fucking father? What if I paid her back? What if I beat her in court and got more visitation? Did I really have the time to be a dad? I wanted to be a comic. And it broke my fucking heart. But then in the middle of that whole process, I came up with something else. I'm never gonna be her dad the way things are going, the way I want to be her dad. I'm just gonna be that man. I'm not gonna have a say in her first communion. I'm not gonna have a... I mean, at that point already, she was 5. I had never been invited to an event. If there was an event that this kid had at school or at a fucking reunion or at the Girl Scouts or whatever the fuck he was involved with, I was never invited. I was just a guy she saw on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's what I felt like, and that's what it felt like at the time. So I had to decide what I wanted to do. And I came up with a decision. I came up with the same decision I came up with in 1985. In 1985, I was fucking lying to myself for 6 years about this money I was going to get that my dad was going to give me. I would lie to my friends and tell them, fucking any day now I'm getting $500,000 or 28 mil. There was nothing coming to me. The only thing I was going to get was fucking dick. That's all I was going to get. I wasn't going to get nothing. And finally in 85, I had the balls to tell myself, I'm lying to myself. If the money's going to be there, I'll get it someday in the future. If I got the money coming to me, I'll earn it. I'll go out there and earn it. It'll come to me. I'll get $500,000. I kept adding these numbers that my stepfather was going to give me this amount of number in my head. And I just drove myself crazy with it. But when I got on that People's Express flight, I'll never forget looking at the pavement in Newark Airport and saying, you know, I'm never going to come back here unless I get my life together. Unless I get my life together. And the next time, it took me 6 years to come back. And the next time I come back, I'm going to come back here a man, not leave here like I left a fucking punk. I still walked out of here on my legs. I didn't crawl here on my knees. But I walked out of here a fucking punk. But I made that decision that if the money was going to come to me, it would come to me. I would earn it at some point in my life. And I left it at that. I never worried about the money again. Never, ever, ever did I worry about money again. It was just something that we used every day. I was too involved with fucking money and how I wanted that quick fucking pay. Everybody wants that quick big chunk. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Not the way you're thinking. So forget about it right now. You're not going to get it. Not the way you're thinking. These people that think they're going to come up with $200,000 in 3 weeks, they're going to hit the lot. Very few. There's a way to do it, but very few can accomplish it. I couldn't. So you work and you strangle it out. And today, here we are. I'm 56. So I had to make the same decision for Jackie, myself, and what was right for the situation at hand. I cut a deal with myself. I knew I had nowhere to go comedically in Colorado. I could have spent another 2 or 3 years developing. I knew that. I knew that big time before I could make a move. I had put those plans upon myself. I knew it was a 7-year until you get the fuck out of here. That's why I was just buying time. But I couldn't live there anymore because something bad was going to happen. Somewhere along the line, something bad was going to happen, and it was going to ruin all the work I had put into comedy already. So I made a deal with myself. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Seattle. I'm going to come back every couple months and see my daughter. I'm going to pay my child support. I'm going to call her during the week. I'm going to set up a schedule to call her during the week. And I'll come back in September to work, to be a sports betting service again. And, you know, raise her and then do comedy on the side. Let me just go to Seattle for a few months to get my feet wet. This situation is not getting any better here. It's getting worse. I'm having horrible fucking thoughts, you know. And let me tell you something. I was living with these thoughts since like Christmas. They were haunting me, guys. Haunting me. Haunting me. It changed who I was. The only thing that didn't change was that I didn't stop doing comedy. But if you came and spoke to me when I was off stage, you knew there was something off. Because after 2 minutes of talking to me, I would bring it to my ex-wife and my kids and give you the ear beating that you'd never even asked for in your fucking life. I'm sorry if I gave you an ear beating in that time in my life, but I gave out a lot of them because it was all that was on my mind. I could talk about it all fucking day. How mad I was, how she took this picture of Cube and sold it for $37. I was just angry. And now that they were trying to take away my kid, and I could see where it was going. And she had already made offers to me. Why don't you just sign the paperwork, give her up for adoption, and you don't have to pay child support, and you lose all your rights. That's what she wanted from day one. So we were not in a good place. So my plan really, 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 between us as family, there was no abandonment here, there was nothing. The plan was to come back in September. As soon as I left, that phone schedule we discussed on the phone would ring for hours. There was no answer. I would leave messages, I called the boss in Seattle and I asked him when he wanted me back. And he told me he wanted me back Labor Day weekend, the first weekend of football. I go, how much time? Because I was already experienced. There's no reason to train me, and there's no reason to sit there during preseason football. I told him I'd get my timing back after a week or two, and then I'd get going. Well, I had never done a feature spot before in my life. I had always hosted. I had done a short feature weekend in Michigan where I had to do 15 minutes. But I had never done a 30-minute spot. I was in comedy 4 years already, and nobody had ever hired me to do a 30-minute spot. And it's all I ever wanted in this fucking life was a 30-minute fucking spot. If I could just do one fucking 30-minute spot, I could prove that I'm a fucking feature act. I didn't have any problem with them saying, but I could just prove to myself that, because with comedy, art, music, when you're first starting out, it's the little things. You know, when I talk to Lee some nights, I go, how'd you do tonight? Do you destroy him? And he'll go, I got an applause break. To Lee right now, that's big. That's what keeps him waking up every day to go do it again and try it again. It's little things that keep you going. And then the more you get into comedy, you'll notice, or the more you get into art or plumbing or whatever, you'll notice that the gaps for successful things happening widens. Like now, little things happen, but they don't happen every other week. They start happening once a month. And it just builds your doubt and doubt and doubt. So I had all these things going on. I mean, it was a fucking horrible feeling. And then one June fucking day, I had already met the stripper over late Memorial Day weekend. She was on her way to visit me. And like the first week of June, I picked the baby up. And I took her across the street. There was like a little bicycle field and all this shit. It was by North Boulder Park there. And we went around the block, because that's why I would always take her to play at North Boulder Park. It was right behind where I lived there. And I took her to North Boulder Park. And while she took off on the bike, I go, Jackie, come back. And she just sped away with me with this fucking helmet to the point where I had to chase her. And she's like, no, leave me alone. No, leave me alone. And finally, when I did catch up to her and stop her, I go, what's the matter? And she spit in my face. And at that moment, I knew that this was not going. That whatever thoughts I had were fucking confirmed. I have to go away. I have to do something with my life. When I say do something with my life, you did not hear the word getting clean. Getting clean was not my vocabulary. I wanted to do something with my life so I could prove to myself and to my daughter that I was a good person, that I wasn't the person that they were drawing me out to be. So when the stripper came, she stayed for a week. She went to Seattle. Her first phone call was, when I got here, I looked in the paper, and all there is comedy places. She goes, I walked past the Comedy Underground. I walked past Giggles. And it was like a week of thinking about it and where I was. And the last couple visits with my daughter were not the best visits. Ever since that smack to John's face, it was not happening. You know, I was working by myself. She had the mother, the boyfriend, her grandmother and grandfather. I had a lot of people working against me at this time, but I wasn't giving them any reasons to give me a chance, to be honest with you. So I did the easiest thing. In the back of my mind, I was going to go to Seattle, clean up 2 months, tighten my shit up, maybe make a little money, and came back. That didn't even come close. I put away enough money to leave on September 5th. I was going to leave like on September 3rd. And then leave Carol up there, which I knew she'd cheat on me 1,000 times. I would leave Carol up there, and I would come back in February after football season. But then something weird happened. I used to write her letters. As a matter of fact, guys, I have a box of letters that I found that I made copies of over the years. I went to after we went to court a couple times, we both had to go see like a marriage counselor and shit like that to report back to the court, and I explained to them my fears about me, my daughter being taken away from me, how little things were starting. And he goes, name one of them to me. And I go, when I was in New York, I would mail her letters, and she would tell me she never got the letters. And he goes, well, then do yourself a favor. Before you mail her a letter, make a copy of it and save them for her. And one day when you reconnect with her, show her the letters with the dates on the letters that you sent them, you know. So I took his advice, and this is what I did, you know. And she had said something to me, like I sent her, in those days, I don't know what was popular, some type of toy or something she wanted. I sent her a toy with a letter or something, and she said she didn't receive it. This was the 7th time I had sent something, and she didn't receive it. It was just getting too coincidental. And then I got a call from John Fox, the booker of this Comedy Underground. And he goes, what are you doing Labor Day weekend? And I go, I'll be back to Boulder by then. He goes, oh, it was a shame. I was going to offer you the weekend at the Comedy Underground. And I said, can I call you back in 1 hour? But mark me in. I got it. I just got to double check with a date. And I hung up the phone. He goes, you have 1 hour to call me back. They paid $250 for 5 shows. It was $50 a show to do 30 minutes on Labor Day weekend. The headliner was Laurie Kilmartin, who I still see around town fucking kicking it. She's a tank. She's a beautiful woman. The funny thing was that required thought. I really had to think about it hard for an hour. And that's when it came to me that I was just never going to be, I wasn't even fucking father material. Who the fuck was I to be a father to a little girl? I wasn't father fucking material. I was never going to get to be this girl's father. But I only had one shot at my dream. I only had one shot at this fucking dream. That's it. One shot. I was 33 years old, 32 years old. I had nothing else going on. But I was already making waves locally in Denver. I was already getting hired as a feature in Denver. People were paying me at bars to be the guy before the headliner in Denver. I was starting to get 50s and 40s and 65s and 75s. I was already really earning my stripes. I had worked very, very hard to get to where I've gotten. If you talk to an open mic comic, they'll tell you how hard it is to come up with 25 minutes, and now you're not doing open mics no more. Like I wasn't doing, in New York, I was doing laundry mats and fucking hamburger Harry's and all this shit. Now I was doing bars in Denver with 80, 90 people with a real headliner that the bar paid $200 on a fucking Wednesday night or a Tuesday night on an off night. So I was just working my ass off. And here I get a call, and I had to decide. I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll take the feature week, and then I'll leave right after that. And right after the feature week, for some reason, John Fox came up to the weekend and watched me, and he goes, hey, I just want to ask you, do you want to do the Seattle Comedy Competition? So here I was with another tough decision. What is the Seattle Comedy Competition? It's in November. You know. So I stayed and did the Seattle Comedy Competition. I took a 6th. Was I ready to go back? I got beat by Aisha Taylor. She took a 5th. Was I prepared to go back to Boulder, whatever? Yeah, I was going to go back to the holidays. But then I got arrested. I got arrested in Seattle for domestic violence, assault, you know, some stupid shit at a bar with the stripper's ex-fucking boyfriend, so they called it domestic violence. You know how embarrassing that is? And I sat in jail for 30 days, and my ex-wife found out about that. I had to call her, and she had to accept the charges, collect call charges. I had Josh Wolf send my daughter a teddy bear. I had to pay Josh Wolf to fucking send my daughter a white teddy bear. And Josh Wolf did it. And then I had to call a friend of mine in Boulder to call my wife to let her know that she was going to expect to collect call from me, that I was in a fucking thing up in Seattle. When she asked me what you got arrested for, and I told her, she said, well, it doesn't look like you're going to really ever get this kid. And she giggled, and I knew what time it was. So there was no abandonment at all, at no point. I think maybe a month after that, I went back to Boulder to visit her. I booked a plane. I flew from SeaTac Airport into Denver, and I rented a car. I borrowed a friend of mine's credit card, rented a car. In those days, you could use somebody's card, And I went to Boulder and I stayed on a friend's floor. And I was there for 5 days. You know how many times I saw my daughter in 5 days? 0. I would do that every 6 months. And 3 visits, you know how many times I saw her? 0. There was always an excuse. There was always, you have to hire an attorney and start from scratch again. There was always something. There was no abandonment. And then while I was in Seattle at some point, I got a call one day that she's moving to England because her stepfather got a job in fucking England. And then I didn't have contact with her. And then I moved to LA, and that's when we started contact. There was never, ever no abandonment, guys. So before you try to fucking be cute and throw that jab at me, there was never no abandonment. I never had nothing to work with in the first place. The only thing I had that was going for me was the comedy. And even though my mind was in a dark place and my heart was broken and I was sad, I would force myself to go on fucking stage. And remember, the pain I was going through then dug up the pain from my mother. I was living with triple fucking pain. And I would still smoke a joint, I'd cry a little bit, smoke a joint, and I would force myself to go on fucking stage. You know? I accepted it for what it was. I finally got a hold of her in England. We spoke a couple times. And then when she moved back to the States, it was radio fucking silence. I left a few messages, and there was radio silence. I got a letter in the mail one day saying that I owed $92,000 to child support. What they didn't know, my ex-wife was an accountant. I didn't have a bank account. I would have to cash all my checks at a check cashing place on Whitley in Hollywood. It's still there. I knew everybody in there. I was friends with everybody. I used to go in there. I used to go behind the glass. That's how much they knew me. And I looked at the bill, and it said that I hadn't paid child support in like fucking a year. And my wife, you know, who's fucking the real deal, she's like, I see you mail the money orders. How the fuck doesn't she get them? Because I was mailing them to a house. I was supposed to be mailing them to some P.O. box in Boulder that was legit, and then they would cut a check and send it to her. So I was sending her the money, so obviously she said she didn't get the money. She said she had never gotten the money. Now, at that time, she didn't need the money. She would have just taken those and ripped them up. I didn't even bother checking checking the things. We went back to the check cashing place. Check cashing place said none of those money orders had ever been cashed. So what we did was we got a list of the money orders, and my wife drew up an affidavit, and we got a notary public, and we had to send it to fucking Boulder Child Services, and then they knocked off the fucking $90,000 off the bill. They accused my wife of some shit, and that's what I lived with. But then something really weird happened. I got basketball. I got a couple movies. And I wouldn't call it a brag. I just thought that by this time, that would be enough to prove myself to them. That I had changed. Even though I was snorting coke. There was no arrest. There was nothing. I was living in Los Angeles for all they knew. You know, I was living with pain. That's what had me fucking doing blow every night and all that shit. Was living with pain of what I had done and guilt and then something happened in 2004. I booked the fucking Longest Yard. And I took a couple pictures on set. And wrote like a 2 or 3 page letter. And, you know, and I sent the fucking letter. And I called. And again, there was no fucking response. So the dream worked out for me on my end. I got to where I had to go. The only part of the dream was me winning her over at the end. You know, and I hope you guys don't understand this. It's just because I had gotten 3 or 4 movies, I could win her over. It wasn't because of the movies. I wanted her to know that I had changed my life around and I had worked hard to get to where I had gotten. But by that time, it was too late. Our relationship was damaged goods. And then came another series of more pain and more addiction and more whatever. And then I think after writing about it for a year in journals and notebooks and whatnot, I finally loosened up the pain, and I loosened up the addiction, and I came to terms with what I had. And after about 2 years of being clean, I started thinking about, now I was the complete person. Now I was doing comedy. Wasn't successful by no means, but I was doing comedy. I'd been in a few movies. I'd done the work, and I was clean. It was time for me to confront her like a man and whatever. By confronting, I don't want no problems. I did not want to stop her at school and embarrass her and get into an argument. I just reached out. But before I reached out this time, I wanted to confirm some suspicions. So I called a few friends of mine. They referred me to a private investigator. I gave the private investigator a retainer, and I had him confirm my suspicions. And my suspicions were all true. You know, even when they had her in high school, they had her living out by Truman University, wherever the fuck that is, because that's where she went to school, was at Truman University. So they had given out that address so I couldn't hunt her down in Colorado. The first thing the guy said to me was, they're trying to hide her, and they hit her really good. Doesn't have a Facebook page, has a Twitter page, private, no tweets, no nothing. I've sent her endless tweets, endless whatever. The relationship just went kaput. There was nothing I could do about it. But I wanted to know what I believed in my heart fully. And I wanted you guys to understand where I am in my heart with this situation. I never abandoned that child. If you know anything about me and my loyalty issues to my friends in Jersey, you know that I don't abandon nobody. I don't abandon anybody unless you abandon yourself from me. And that's exactly what she did. And you guys, if you check my Twitter, I hit her on Twitter every 3 months. I thought of calling the mother last Monday on the 30th anniversary between you and I. And I said, what would I get from it? A joke? To feel bad? For her to say something bad? For me to insult her? You know what? In some situations, you gotta let dogs lie. You know, I think the fourth or the second step of AA is to call all the people you hurt and apologize. Till this day, even in my personal life, I apologize to as many people as I could. There's still a few people that an apology isn't really going to change what happened to our relationship, because I ruined it when I did the action that I did. So that's how I live with myself today. I live with myself that I knew that I didn't abandon her. I did the commitment of my child support, and I tried. I still remember going to Houston for the first time, and there was a fucking thing that was really popular then, like a bunch of these little stuffed animals. They had them in all different horses.
Beanie Babies?
Beanie Babies, and they were rare ones. People were collector's item, and she wanted a specific Beanie Baby. And Lee'll tell you, I don't want to get on no buses. I don't want to do nothing. I was so fucking broke as a feature act that I hopped on a bus and went across town to a different mall before my flight.
Wow. Just
to get her this little Beanie Baby white horse or whatever. And again, I sent it, and something must have happened to it in the mail. We never got it. So it was always something. So I never gave up. And in my heart, I never gave up. Hey, it's not my fault that at 50, God decided to give me another chance and throw a daughter my way. It's not my fucking fault. So I guess the void that was left by Jacqueline is now filled by Mercy. My ex-wife got what she wanted. She wanted me to be away from her and to be raised without me in her life, and for her to raise her on her own with another man and to start a family and be a different human being. And my wife got that. And guess what I got? I got the career that I wanted. I got off cocaine, and so all parties involved were happy. You and I both know that's not the truth. You and I both know that there's going to be blowback at my daughter, on my daughter. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But at some day, the skeletons you sweep in the closet will come back to bite you in the ass. They always do. That's why you got to check on them. That's why you got to check on your skeletons from time to time, because you don't want them checking on you. So how long can she walk around knowing that her real father is out there? You understand me? So somewhere along the line, they're going to pay for their sin also. Because this comes back to bite you in the ass later when you abandon a child. Or you don't abandon a child. Or you abandon somebody. You know, they don't want me to contact her, or they don't, you know, I don't have a restraining order, nothing like that. I can get on a plane right now. I know exactly where she lives. I know exactly where she works. I know where she sells real estate. I get on a plane today and stalk her and tell them what I'm telling you people. I do not want to do that. That would just create more of a fucking, that would just fit into the illusion that they think this is what they want me to do. To really embarrass myself, for her to call the cops on me. This is what they bait me to do by doing what they're doing. Me, I'm old enough to know that sometimes you gotta plant the seed and let it fucking grow. And watch it. Keep your eye on it. Water it, feed it, make sure it has sunlight, and see where it ends up. I know this now that I'm at this age. I wouldn't want to not be a father now because I want to go to Denver and stab somebody. All those feelings have gone away. They're long gone. The anger, the frustration, the confusion about all this, it's gone away. I made peace with it. So before you think you're being cute next time, you throw a message at me about abandoning Jackie, if you know anything about me, I don't abandon anything. 28 years, I don't abandon comedy. I mean, George Kolodinsky, Timmy Holloway, James V, Ascalise, Devo, you know, fucking Gear, Lubes, you know, the Gallows, all these people. It's been 40-something years, and my loyalty still stands to them. I'm very hurt because I don't speak to my daughter. I would love to have her in my life. I don't think we could be that close. I don't think we could repair. I think it would be a slow process, you know. But just to have her call or check in, let me know what she's feeling, if I could help her out with anything, that would be a great feeling too. But for today, we'll leave it where it is.
Why? Okay, I understand what you're saying, everything you're saying, but people say crazy shit to you online and person all the time. Why did this one strike a nerve?
It made me laugh. It made me laugh that there's people walking around that, you know, with all the stories I tell on here about being a fiend and finger banging Indians and getting yeast infections and fucking kidnapping people in the trunk of a car, that's what you would pick. You know, that's the most hurtful thing you could say. 20 years ago was the most hurtful thing that you could say to me. Not now. When you say a statement like that to me today, like the guy who said it the other day, I told him I would hate to be him. Because how angry do you have to be deep down inside to make that statement at somebody? Maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe his wife left him for the Mexican lawnmower man. Who knows? But for somebody to make that statement when we were talking about something completely different, he could have attacked me at 20 different levels. That's the level he thought. And I even answered him correctly. I said, you know, like I said, I didn't say fuck you or suck my dick or nothing because I felt bad for him. I felt that if that's where his head is at, Jesus fucking Christ. It's a Thursday morning. On Thursday, and I looked at his profile pic and all that shit, he was a fucking stiff. But that doesn't matter. Me being that guy on a Thursday morning, I'm not even responding to me. You know, at that age, I'm not even responding to me. I'm going out getting my dick sucked. I'm making money. I'm jumping up and down. He ain't doing that, obviously. He's finding the time to be spiteful.
Right.
So it's like Steve Simone says, all you can do is pray for those motherfuckers. That's all you could fucking do. Listen, it's Tuesday. Get your shit together. It's the fucking 17th of the month already.
Jesus.
Before you know it's going to be Halloween, and when you wake up, there's going to be fucking Christmas advertising because, hey, nobody makes money selling turkeys. You know what I'm saying?
Halloween candy's already out.
Halloween fucking candies are out. I know you bought.
I gotta taste test the first batch, yeah.
Sure, just to make sure the chocolate's good. I know how you are. Just to get
for the kids, you don't want them to get upset.
But that's it, and that's that. That's your Tuesday fucking morning podcast or late Monday night, however the fuck you want to use it. I just wanted to get that out and let you know where I was in my world. because that's what I've been writing this shit out lately, because in between the book and the one-man show, for a lot of people who don't know, this Wednesday at the Comedy, so it's already sold out. The third Wednesday of every month. I'm going to go up there. I mean, right now, I think I counted I think I got something like 40-something stories written out. Wow. And I'm writing a book at the same time. And I think I got up to 88 stories that I have to move around and find where they work at this one-man show. So September, October, November, and December, the third Wednesday of every month at 8 o'clock or 7:30, I check the website, I will be working out my one-man show. It's just a night of fucking stories. Chronological, I'm going to mix them around. I got shit I want to try. So it's just going to be a workshop. I really want to do it at the world-famous Comedy Store. What my intentions is with this workshop is to get it kind of down by maybe March or April, and then maybe put it somewhere in New York City for like a 3-week run off Broadway. That's what I like to do. I've always liked that idea. I suggested this to Richard Jenny because he was such a great storyteller. I thought he could fucking pick up Leguizamo and wipe his ass with him. So now, instead of Jenny doing it, God rest his soul, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to try the same fucking thing. Hopefully in a few weeks by doing it at the store. In fact, I got to call the guy today. I'll pick up a director to help me with a couple things. This first 3 months isn't going to be movement of lights or, is that you in the darkness? There's not going to be none of that shit. This is just going to be a fat fuck telling stories. Some are going to be funny. Some are going to make you cry. Some are going to make your fucking jaw drop. And eventually we'll put them all together, and then we'll fucking put it on off Broadway and work ourselves to Broadway, all right? Together as a podcast and the church family. This is how you do it. So I appreciate all your motherfucking support. Again, I had a great time in Texas this weekend. Majestic Theater was beautiful, and the Aztec Theater was sensational. There was a taco truck outside the Aztec Theater. Ooh. So they got us 3 fucking tacos. They were tremendous with salsa and a lot of lettuce. It was just a great fucking weekend. Listen, you never go wrong in Texas. But next up is another city where I never fucking go wrong, and that's Chicago, baby boy. We're doing the Chicago Theater. Kate Quigley, Dean Del Rizzi. We're going in there. We're going to light that fucking town on fire. Edible juice, vapors. Kate Quigley's going to show her monkey. It's going to be fucking tremendous. Even if I got to shoot a bottle rocket out of it, we're doing something with Kate Quigley's monkey that weekend. It's over. She's fucking roller skating with a bikini on. We're doing something. You're going to know we get to town when we get to town. So go to chicagotheater.com, whatever the fuck it is, Chicago Theater. Do not go to these other companies. Some girl came up to me and broke my heart and fucking whatever. She said she paid $400 for tickets at some place. If you pay any more than $35 for me without the fucking ticket, like without this whatever service fee, listen, please don't do that. Please don't do that. I'll be back. You see me on the schedule on Improv. You could get a ticket and get a plane and spend the weekend with your lover and come down and make me one of the things you want to see. But do not pay oversized. I am not worth $200. It is not worth it. Do not put more money in a scalper's hand than when you're putting it in my fucking hand. Why would you do something like that? Do not. I'm telling you right now. When it's sold out, it's sold out. Don't go to those secondary fucking websites because they just want to rob you. I don't get nothing from that. My agent doesn't get nothing from that. Nobody makes a fucking dime from that. So either you pay the $28.50 plus the service fee or the $32 plus the service fee. I don't keep my tickets over $35. What they do in Vegas is completely different at the, Vegas. Everybody's tickets are fucking $80 fucking dollars. So whatever Treasure Island does, I'll be there for February 28th, but I'm not worried about that. What I'm telling you motherfuckers is next Friday the 27th, Chicago motherfucking theater. But now to a word from our sponsors. First off, listen, great fucking first week of football, great second week of football. Now you're going into your fucking third week, you're scratching your head. Joey, I could have won again last week. You're full of shit, bitch. My bookie. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay when you win. Let's face it, where you're betting is as important as who you're betting on. If you're trying to bet on the NFL, baseball, MMA, whatever, my bookie's got it. I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best. So do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with my bookie. Did you know you could bet on games after kickoff? No. If by the second half it looks like your bet's going to lose, you can always just take the other side. MyBookie.ag does those little things. If you're the kind of guy who likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. There's my bookie. If all your picks come through, you multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year. This is it right now. You got this, you got NBA basketball, you got college basketball coming, you got the fucking playoffs, you got hockey. My bookie will fulfill your motherfucking gambling fantasies or whatever the fuck you like to do. Double your first deposit right now, today. It's Monday night. We got 2 games tonight? No. Yeah, 2 games tonight, I think. Use promo code CHURCH to get you $100, 100% bonus on your initial deposit up to $1,000. What are we talking about here? I'm going to double your money today. Just go to mybookie.ag today. That's my bookie. Grab a fucking pen, Momo. MYBOOKIE.AG. And don't forget to use promo code CHURCH when you're creating your account to claim the bonus. MyBookie.ag. You play, you win, you get paid. You understand me? Don't forget, they're running a contest. 5 teams you got to pick every week. $100 at the end of the season. Whoever has more points gets $100,000 motherfucking dollars. So go to mybookie.ag right now. Hey, at the beginning, I talked to you guys about a new sponsor we're working with, Kettlebell Kitchen. The really different that this has than anybody else that's approached me is I like the telephone consultation with a nutritionist. I mean, listen, Kettlebell Kitchen, their mission is to change people's lives through making healthy food more accessible. Eating healthy is on everybody's mind right now. What, when, and how much you eat, it's hard to know where to start. Plus, meal planning and prep is time-consuming. You don't want to spend your entire Sunday chopping carrots and roasting chicken breast, do you? Kettlebell Kitchen helps you stay on your diet by taking out the hassle of shopping and cooking. These meals come right to you twice per week for optimal freshness. Plus, you'll never get bored because they offer personalized menus, whatever works for you. Vegetarian, keto, Whole30, paleo, they got it. You can even filter by your calorie, fat, and carb limits so you get exactly the right foods for your unique needs. That's what I'm talking about, Kettlebell Kitchen. All their meals are free of dairy, soy, and artificial sweeteners, and made from ingredients that are naturally gluten-free. And unlike other meal boxes, you can order one meal at a time or sign up for a plan. You can change it up anytime, no long-term contracts. This week, they had a tremendous menu. Now I can't find it. They sent me, when they first reached out to me, they sent me some tremendous stuff, all right? They sent me the grass-fed steak, the bison beef sliders, and the Cuban pork roast. Listen, my wife and I, sensational. They were sensational. All their meals, like I said, are free of dairy, soy, artificial sweeteners, and are made from ingredients that are all naturally gluten-free. So, what are you waiting for? What the hell are you waiting for? You've been thinking, how can I go on one of these diets and for it to be effective? Here it is. Feed the champion in you with Kettlebell Kitchen. You understand me? Hold on one second. Let me tell you what they got on the menu this week. I knew I wasn't fucking crazy. Athlete chicken parm, buffalo turkey burger, Moroccan beef burgers. That's the menu this week, right now. Go to kettlebellkitchen.com and enter code CHURCH, CHURCH, for $50 off your first 2 orders for new customers. That's $50 off your first 2 orders at kettlebellkitchen.com. Use code word CHURCH, CHURCH. Also, you know I love these guys. They keep me flying fresh. They keep me, listen, the tincture and the gummy bears are second to motherfucking none. Anybody I drop a bottle of tincture off, even Ari's father, was like, I don't know what's in there, but I've been, you know that Ari's father took a trip and hiked up the Kilimanjaro, fucking something
Really?
crazy. He's 80 fucking years old. CBD Lion is the way to go. Listen, go to cbdlion.com. Look at their third-party lab results. You're going to be fucking amazed. Look at how they categorize everything, how they care about their product. This isn't something that you buy at a liquor store or some fucking hair store or a barber. CBDlion.com. Go to that website right now. They're going to change your fucking life, okay? See, and they, listen, whatever you want to do. You want to smoke it with shatter? They got it. You want to smoke it with a vapor? They got it. You want to fucking eat it with a tincture, put it under your tongue like Uncle Joey. Last night, I put 5,000 milligrams under my tongue. I went to bed at 11:30. I woke up at fucking 7:30 this morning, okay? I got up to pee at 7:30. I didn't take that bottle on the road with me. I took the 250 milligram. And even that, CBD Lion is second to none. Go to cbdlion.com right now. Look at their second-party, third-party lab results for yourself. On the way out of checkout, after you buy a bottle of that tincture and put it under your tongue, put in code word CHURCH, CHURCH, and get 20% off delivered to your house. Again, I want to thank you guys. I want you to have a great weekend, a great week. We'll be back either Wednesday or Thursday morning. I might surprise you this week. And that's it and that's that, motherfuckers. Don't forget the Chicago Theater, September 27th, 8 p.m., Kate Quigley, Dean Del Rizzi. Who the fuck you think you're dealing with? Kick this mule, Lee. Rick Ocasek. Rest in peace. I love you.